Hello everyone, TMan978. Welcome to my TMan978's how to transform fansToys FT-54. What is his name? Warthog, aka Powerglide, to jet mode and back to robot mode. I did a separate review, link in the description and link at the end of this video, but I will just be transforming it and giving my opinions on the transformation while I'm transforming it. I will try to not do as many cuts. I will try to make it straightforward as possible because I know people like to see that. But let you know now, it's frustrating. First thing I'm going to do, since he's holding his gun, is open his hand and pull that straight out. Shut the hand. I said I wouldn't do any jump cuts, but I was forced to. Basically, the arm needs to come forward and we need to pull this elbow pad down. Let's do that on both sides before I forget. And now once you do that, it unlocks the ability to open the arm sideways like that. Then we can kind of grab it right here, shift this forward, and then accordion it outward. Now we can open this panel, push the hand inside, and shut the panel. While that's still open, we can rotate the arm upside down and backwards, basically covering or rotating the double jointed elbow backward. And we can pull this back. In fact, let's do that on both sides. Pull that back. And now we can shut this back, rotate it because there is a little peg hole right there. Rotate it till we get to this point, and then force it over to go into that peg hole. And we can shut that. Let's do that again, but on this side. Boom. Boom. Get out of here. Elongate that. You know what? Here's what he looks like with super long arms, since I don't show that in the review. But anyway, we can make sure that's open and rotate this backward until you can't do it no more. But open this panel, put the hand inside and shut the panel. Rotate things this way and bring it forward until that peg goes into the side of the wing, and do that. There are a lot of people out there with horrible sounding engines. Now, this right here, we can push that away, push that away. But what we really need to do is separate this peg out of there. So kind of get your fingers into a position where we can unpeg that. There we are. Unpeg all that. And it can come down like this. But I'm also going to grab this and elongate the torso. Get that out like that. And now we should be able to unpeg this by lifting that up. You didn't see it. Lift that up and this should unpeg away from that. So everything is just dangling down like this. We're gonna put these up. These little pieces right here, clip on, no pin, Hasbro style. Now we can elongate this stuff that's inside of here. Elongate that out of the body. Like this panel doesn't rise, just the stuff that was in the inside. Here we can rotate the face around, which is easier said than done, but basically get that flat. And before I forget, because I always do, we can hit this to open that up, lift that out, rotate it, put it back down. And we can elongate. Well, actually, before we elongate that, we need to get this out of the way so that we can lift this up and then lift this out and pull all this out of here. And now we can bring this forward, and at this point it feels like it doesn't, but we can force it up that way. Get the face straight, and now we can push, well, maybe not all the way straight, push that underneath of the neck, then bring the head down, and then clamp this on to the empty face cavity. And if you don't bend this to the point where I said bend it, it won't stay up straight, it'll just keep hanging down. Now we can bring this around like that and forward, and we can take this stuff right here, hit it, come on bruh, get that out like this. We can bring this back, and now we should be able to line it up like this. Come on, focus, and clamp that around there. So, and clamp this to that. Now all of that's done. Down here, we can bring these little side skirts down and put them into that position. Down here, we can bring this down, but rotate this way, get this out the way, slide it down on the slider. We can grab this right here, bring this, no, don't bring it all the way down, but bring this up. I like that, and this clamp or this little space right there needs to wrap around this pin. Push it. Now we can bend this like hinge outward so that we can get it into a position where we can do this. And I said don't push this down because this needs to fold out like that. Unfortunately, things will be fighting you, like this came out of that peg hole, and this will just be flimsy, dangling around for a bit. Let's leave that dangling around for a bit. But over here, let's do this again. Slide this down on the pin. We can kind of stretch this out now, but bring this up, out, pin it on top of the pin. Make sure this is kind of up, but bend things till we get right here, and then bring that down. Make sure that this is still straight. I wish these wings would lock in better, but they don't. And at this point, we can lift these crotch panels up. And here's a tough part. This right here needs to slide downward. I'll show you. I bend the legs backwards and then use this as leverage to pull it down like that. But then the leg needs to come, the joint needs to be rotated like this again. So let's try that again. We can actually come forward, but I'm using this as leverage to bring that down, but the joint needs to get into its position that it was in. Right there. Now this is the front of the thighs with that cutout like that. We need to rotate them like this, and then we need to pull down on the knees until you can see that metal right here. Pull down on the knees until you can see the metal. Now with these down and this like pinched together, I wish they tabbed together, but they don't. We can bring the wings, this peg right here goes into a hole right there. Bring this down, and when you bring that down, this should be able to, right here, peg into this. So let's make sure that this comes all the way into the position. And this is what I mean about no jump cuts. Get that into position, and then we should be able to lock it into place. And I say lock it into place loosely, but get that into position and then lock it into place. It's probably going to keep flopping out, but yeah, I'm doing it like they show you in the instructions and on their video. Now this right here, we need to bend on this joint while rotating the knee that way so that things can be up, sort of. But bend on this joint, rotate things up like that. I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to elongate these feet. Elongate the feet. Now I'm going to unpeg this like that. Unpeg this, which has a hinge right here. All this should slide right past the foot easy. And then there's a peg right here. I'm going to bring this up and stretch that out. Once we stretch that out, we can rotate it this way. Now let's do that on this side. And you see this wing came off? Okay. Unpeg this. Unclip this, which will have the hinge down here. You should be able to easily get past the foot. And now we can open this up while pulling that out. And we can rotate this. And this is the nightmare part of this transformation. This needs to be hinged up, and we can start bending it so that we can start seeing the engine right there, or whatever you call this part of the plane. We can rotate this and have it in this orientation like that. Let's do that same thing over here. Bend this so we can see that engine. Make sure this is rotated. Both of these have the screws on the back of the knees in that orientation. And now these little pieces that was on his calf, we can fold that in, fold that up like that, fold that in, fold that up. And essentially, we need to make sure that this is straight. And we need to rotate this inward while putting this into a position like that. So basically this all stuff needs to all groove into there. Now I'm going to leave the wing out on this side and see if I can do it. But there is a peg here that goes into a peg hole right there. As long as you have the knees bent correctly, we should be able to get this to match up. But it is a friggin' nightmare. Now I'm gonna put this wing back here like it should have been in the first place. Which I do have to lift this up. And if you haven't clicked off, thank you. But you're going to be having these same issues, so you might as well just stick in here with me. I'm going to try to put this back where it was. Okay, alright. Now let's attempt to do that again. But on this side. And did this flip? Yes, it flipped around. Rotate this into such a position where we can get things up under there. And kind of squeeze it together. These pegs are almost like a suggestion because they do not want to come together until everything else comes together. Because like down here, we need this to come together. But I'm going to leave that kind of open because now we got the DD's feet, which is another piece of this nightmare. We're going to rotate it into a position like that. I'm going to unpeg this, start folding all this out while bringing that up. And this also comes up to form the rest of the wing. Now we can lift this up, and you see that? This is the landing gear that was hidden in here. Let's just get that up to there and clip this together. So now what needs to happen is this peg hole right here. We have this peg that's in the back of his foot that needs to go into there while we rotate what used to be his ankle pivot so that that can match up back here. So now we need to do that with this foot. Open this, unpeg that, lift this outward, bring this up, start spinning things till that matches right there. You see how it doesn't match, make it symmetrical. And then we can lift this up so that this flap right here can fold up and fold into that. And now this is symmetrical, so we know we have to rotate what used to be the ankle pivot. Get that in a position and peg all of that together as best you can. And this is the third time I'm doing this, and this is the best I've done this. So sheesh. But bring that down. This went past this, which shouldn't happen. You can get that locked. Just squeeze everything. Oh yeah, this stuff down here. Just make this overlap. The best you can. I'm not gonna drive myself crazy with that. If you have OCD and you want that to be perfect, you can do it, but basically it is the plane right here. He is a jet. Oh, I see a problem right here. This pin got shifted down. Let's pull that up to make everything match. But yes, here he is. He is a jet. All right, jet to robot transformation. I hope it goes smoother, but I'm gonna put the landing gear up, put it up right here, up right there. And it doesn't really matter for this, but I'm gonna bring that up like that. So now we are going to push this forward, push that forward. Then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of separate this right here. And I believe things rotated around this way, but I might as well bend this down to here and bend this down to here on both sides. Now that I've done that, we can move this down, these down, and bring this down and put that right here. Put this landing gear in there. Take this peg it into there, and peg this in. Where is this pegging? This needs to peg into there. Little insert, because I'm doing this in the wrong order. This flap right here needs to come in first before this front flap connects. Do that on both sides. Don't listen to what I'm saying in the actual video. Alright, I believe the foot needs to go like this, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, need to bring this down, peg this into place, bring that down, and peg this into place over there. And like same thing, I'm putting that right here. The foot needs to probably rotate to about here and rotate to about there for the ankle pivot. Now we can go ahead and start separating this and this stuff. Bring the knees out like this. Rotate this. Rotate it again. This can shove down into there. Bring these down, like blocking that into place slightly. And this joint right here, that screw needs to line up with this. So now we should be able to bring this around, making sure this is out a bit. Bring this around. And when that gets around, we need to bring this up. And basically, this peg right here needs to go into a slot right there. Bring that up. Make sure the foot can come back. And we can bring this up and bring that into there. Now, this is the front of the leg, so we know the foot is in the right place. We're gonna worry about these knees later, but I'm gonna leave it bent like that. Same stuff over here. Bring this down, bringing that up, and now we can rotate this way, push this into here. Make sure that this is out. Bring this down. And now we should be able to shut this around if the foot is in the correct orientation. Yeah, how you know? This is the front of the leg and this is the front of the foot. So we can push this into place. Peg this into place back here. And we can bring the foot together. I'm going to leave the legs alone until I start messing around with this. You can open up the crotch panel, bring this up out of here on both sides. While that's up right there, I'm gonna push these flaps, these side panels right here, up into this orientation. All right. Now I'm going to get the legs back up, bring it down, and rotate them this way. Get this little hip piece up. Rotate this hip down. If you can see the screws, they're backwards. But this is the front of the thighs in this orientation. You can bring that down. And now, what am I gonna mess with? I am going to mess with this stuff right here. Going to lift that up, mess with that. I'm going to unpeg this from the face, bring the head back so that we can get this out. Then we're gonna bend this forward, all the way down like that, shove that into here, all the way, and then push that up under his head. Now we're going to separate this and separate this. Now, like I said, these clip on, so that could possibly pop off depending on how you mess with it. But We got this open, and now we are going to shove this down. Oh, Jesus Christ. I went ahead of myself. This shouldn't be in here yet. We can close this and push this up into there. Now we can shut this with the landing gear up in there. We can also rotate this around onto his back. And this piece right here, we can pull that up, pull that out, rotate it till it's flat and push it there. And now we need to accordion this right here inside of this stuff right here. Okay, I don't know why the head rotated, but these need to be out like this. And here we go with this. Like I said, just clipped on. There's a little groove. You can actually slide this back into its spot like that, basically. With both of these bent out, we can pinch them underneath of his neck, basically. And I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this around his face. And while we're here, you shouldn't need a tool, but yeah, it is difficult because they want it to stay in one spot, to be honest. But now we have that in place. Here's what we have to do here. We need to bend things outward like that. Flip this forward like this. Rotate it like this. Bring it down and flip this wing up to match it. And it actually pegs into place. I'm going to do that over here, except I have this gun here, unpegging that. I'm going to carefully bend that like that. I'm going to bend this forward, bring it this way, bring it down, and now this pegs into there. And we can slide this bar up, slide this bar up, rotate it like this, then it can come up like this. But this piece right here needs to be pointed down. So here's what's happening. This is clipping into here. And then this and that needs to peg into these two holes right here. So move the arm into the position where that can click into place. And things should look like this, and that should be covering his back. Let's do that again over here. This. That. Make sure this is down. And now we're gonna click that into place, which also clicks his chest into place. And we're gonna put these two pegs into these two holes by making sure that rocks down and gets in there. Now the arms, they can come out like this, come out like that. Make sure these are down and out the way. Rotate the double jointed elbow this way. And now right here, we can open this panel, pull the hand out, shut that panel, and rock this back. Now we can shut this and close the elbow. Same thing over here. Open this, take the hand out, shut that and rock this into place. Shut that and close this. Now here, this goes up. This pinches in. So let's make sure you see that motion. This is pinching in like his ab crunch, while this is rocking up to meet that. And then we can shove this into place. These right here need to come forward like that. It does not lock satisfyingly, so they're just sitting there. And now down here, the little screw is the inside of his knee. We can turn that around, keep that on the inside, and we can shove this down. You'll have to use more force than you would like to be using, but it's FansToys. They do crazy things. Just keep forcing it down. I'm gonna start on this one. It's hard to tell you where to grab him at where things won't be falling apart. Ow! This is not a good connection, like at all. I complained about it in the review. But this should collapse down. Let me lift this up. But it is hard. There we go. So push that down. I'm like kind of using this as leverage and grabbing here, because all of this will come apart if you don't hold it together. Bro. I'm gonna keep messing with this on camera so you can see the amount of struggle. Now I got that down, and he is now a robot. For better or worse, he is a robot. If this video helped you on any level, on whether it helped you decide you're not even going to buy this thing, give me a like, give me a share. Or if it helped you get this thing back into a robot after you foolishly made him into a jet, you can give me a like for that as well, and share. Anyway, thank you for watching. Full review in the description and at the end of the video. Until next time, TMan978 out of here. Figure action. That one's me. Join the Syndicate Toy Hunters Facebook group. Link in the description. Click the videos. Click the videos, baby. Click the videos. You should really click these videos. Click the videos. Click those videos, baby. Click the videos. You really should